Hi guys, it's Chris at Cork and Crown, back at my cider table with some more cider to try. Two ciders in fact. It's a double header, both from the same producer. I was in a shop today and I saw them on the shelf. I thought, yeah, let's do that. Because I do like to try more, widely available products. I tend to sell to very small producers and stuff. But most people can't get hold of those things. They can only get hold of things in supermarkets and bigger shops and so forth. So it's good to try those things because there's a hierarchy amongst sort of supermarket ciders and bigger ciders as well. Some are better than others. Westerns I like quite a lot actually. Still use all their own juice, which is great. We like that. No concentrates and so forth. These guys, I'm not sure. I think it's all their own apples. They've got about 90 acres of orchards in Somerset. And they are Sheppy's. Sheppy. So this is the one that actually caught my eye because it's a single variety Kingston Black. This is a vintage reserve, so this is a blend. This is the 2025. This has to be 2025 as well, like you see, unless it's a blend of vintages. Can't be 2026 because the apples haven't been picked yet because it's only June. Yes, June. I had to think about that for a second. So I'm going to try, this is 7.4, this is 6.5. I'm going to try the single variety first, I think. I love the fact they've got single variety Kingston Black. That's cool. Not many of the big producers do single varieties. Trying to think of one that does actually. I can't off the top of my head. Don't think Westerns do. Don't think Thatchers do. I saw an interesting one from Shower Rings actually, which I think is where Baby Sham's made. If you go near Shepton Mallet, you go down a hill and up the side, and the base of the hill is like all these big fermenters and so forth or whatever on your left hand side, and there's a big Baby Sham like deer fawn outside, like a big fake one, obviously not a real one. I'm pretty sure that's where Shower Rings is based, and they do an interesting blend of traditional apples, which I'm going to get as well and try that because that's pretty interesting. I've had it once before a while ago, but I'd like to get one. But let's stick to what we're doing. Sheppy's Kingston Black, like Sheppy's of Somerset. It's a bitter sharp. Let's open it up. So bitter sharp, so expect some acidity, etc. Like I said, I don't know if they concentrate or if they keep all their juice. It's all their own stuff, their own juices, which they're keeping in in like storage tanks and so forth, like at Westerns. Not sure how it works for these guys. But yeah. Let's taste it and find out what we think. Fine crafted cider. Any other blurb on here? Sheppy's Kingston Black cider is made with the famous Old Somerset apple, revered by many as the finest cider variety in the world. Finely balanced, crisp, dry cider with a slight sparkle. So yeah, like I said, 90 acres of orchard. They've got on-site sort of farm shop with a cheesemonger, which interests me. 30 plus years of cheesemonger, me. So I'm always interested when I see the word cheesemonger. Cheesemonger on their cafe. You can walk in the orchards and so forth. Yeah, they do a lot. They're very big into pollinators, bees, that sort of thing. You know, good stuff. Good stuff. So colour, a nice amber. It's bright, and this is going to be filtered. It's going to be forced carbonated for sure, but not much of a hiss, which I like. Seems to be very gently carbonated, which we like. It's going to be pasteurised, that bottling, I suppose. If it's back sweetened for sure. I'm not sure if it is back sweetened. It says doesn't say it's dry on there, so I don't know what to expect in terms of sweetness. Let's try it. Very delicate nose, kind of like stone fruit and deep aged apples, maybe caramelized apple sort of thing on the nose. Yeah, I'm going to stick with that. Maybe a little bit of like a marmalade-y sort of thing. That's the sort of thing I'm getting. Let's try it. Low carbonation, which I appreciate a lot. Delicate tannins, which you'd expect from Kingston Black. Not brutally tannic, but some tannin. Acidity, low acidity, so that bitter sharp isn't bringing much sharpness. Minerality though, it's got lots of that in the mid palate. Gentle aged apple character, gentle stone fruit character. What I'm getting on the nose actually is what I'm getting in the palate, maybe hints of very subtle marmalade character. That's kind of getting almost like a cooked apple character as well, which maybe we can do with the pasteurisation, don't know. So for 6.5, I expected with a bit more kick than this. I had a Kingston Black from Butford Organic recently, which the film got lost, but I mentioned it in the film where I did his KB&D, his Kingston Black Davenant blend, and it knocked my socks off. It was great. That was only 6%. It had loads more going on this. So much more body, more acidity, just everything bigger, but balanced, delicious, fabulous, really good Kingston Black. This, much lighter. But you know what? An okay sipper. Mere suggestions of tannin on the back end. It's refreshing, yeah. It's not like drinking malic acid, like eating like a cooking apple, like a Granny Smith. It's got a bit more. It's a bit more rounded than that, a bit more textured. It's all right. It's all right. I think I was expecting more. There's nothing wrong with it. I love the carbonation. Lovely soft carbonation. Most people wouldn't have done that. I just made it fizzy as hell, which would have, just not. It would have masked what was there, I think. Yeah, it's all right. I want to say it's better than all right because I love the fact they're doing it. Respect to Sheppy's for doing it. Seriously, respect. It's great. There you go. Now, unfortunately, I've only got one glass. And I can't bother to go and get a second glass. I have to neck this. Sorry. To be fair, when you eat a massive gobful of it, you do feel a bit more tannin, there's a hint of that sort of there's apple skin as well in there as well, I want to say. There's a little bit of acidity, but very low acid, okay. Water to rinse it out, and my palate. Bottle number 2, the 2025 Vintage Reserve. Don't know what vintage, because that's a year's production. And I don't know what they've reserved. What does it say? Sheppy's award-winning vintage reserve cider is made with the season's very finest Somerset apples and aged in traditional oak vats. So it's in oak vats, probably very old oak and probably massive vats, so not much contact and not much. It's not going to bring a lot of oak to the party at all. But you can get a little bit of oxidization that way, a bit of concentration as well. You can lose a bit to the elements. The angel's portion is what they call it in whiskey. The bit that evaporates off, the angels can have that. We'll have what's left behind. 7.4 though, bit of a beast. Contains sulfites for freshness. But yeah, so medium, slightly sparkling with a full body taste and mature flavour. Yeah, not a lot of information about what's actually got into making the cider, but you're not obliged to. That's the thing. This is the problem. I mistrust ciders where they don't put the ingredients on because I think they're hiding something. The small producers always put the ingredients on. Like we just mentioned Martin Harris, it always says 100% apples, and that's it. Nothing else goes into it. No sulfites, no yeast, nothing like that. Yeah. I don't like people using sulfites and stuff, but I find that if people don't put any ingredients on, I think, what aren't they telling me? They're not obliged to, but I think it's good when they do, because I just don't trust it when they don't. That's all. Because I'm cynical. Too much crap ciders made me cynical. Me and most of the rest of the world, unfortunately, when it comes to cider, that is. So, colour-wise, nice amber. Nicer amber, actually, you can see to this bottle. It's maybe similar. Yeah, this is a bit deeper, this amber. This is a bit paler. It's almost got a Pinot Gris-ish sort of pink hue to it, that. This is much more amber, but bright. Nice looking thing. Which suggests proper cider apples, rather than eating apples. Let's smell it. Bolder nose, absolutely. Yeah, much better nose, straight off. Almost, there's that apple there, but almost hints of spirit, like whiskey. There's the oak's making me think of that. It's not going to get, the oak's not going to bring me flavour. It's not. They're going to be old oak for sure. Not new, not young. But yeah, something there is a hint of there's something we think of a spirit about it. It's got a similar kind of aged apple character to it as well. There's a richness to it. I want to say, let's Seville orange marmalade again on this one. Yeah, much more depth of character this. It's bringing loads more. It's deeper, it's richer. I can almost feel the booze in the back of my throat, and it's 7.4%. Let's try it. Yeah. More tannin. Hard tannin on the back. Leatheriness. We like that. This has got a bit more residual sugar. I have a sweet tooth. It's quite low acid. And I've almost like, it's almost like make me think of a toffee apple. But then you get that leathery thing, that leatheriness from the hard tannin. Love that. Love the fact it's got hard tannin on the back. This is a better cider, absolutely. I wish it was a bit drier. No, it doesn't have to be bone dry. I just feel like the sweetness detracts a little bit from that traditional cider apple character. A lot of people who don't drink much cider would drink this and think it was dry, because most cider's almost sickly sweet. And it's fake sweetness as well from sucralose and fake sugars, or sweeteners rather than sugars. Very gently carbonated again though. Kudos to Sheppy's. I almost want to blend the two together. I'm not going to do it because I goes against all my principles. Yeah. So that, yeah, almost the back. It's almost got like orange marmalade thing on the back with the sugar from the orange marmalade though. I wonder if there's dabbing it in this. Yeah, this is a better cider. I wish it was a bit drier. I wish it was as dry as the Kingston Black. I think I'd prefer it then. I have a sweet tooth. I just feel like it's not quite, it needs a bit more acidity, sourness to offset that sweetness. And there's bitterness there, but I don't think the bitterness is enough to offset the sweetness as well. I think like 30% less sugar, and I think this would be a better drink. But that's for my palate. I can only talk about my palate, nobody else's. But worth picking up. Defo. I think people who are into traditional ciders and small producers, they should try this just to get a feel for what, for what it's like from Sheppy's. Every iteration, every vintage from every producer is going to be a little bit different. But I feel like this is a bit low acid, a bit thin for something that's 6.5%. It feels like it's been watered back. I don't know if it has or not, but it feels like, it could have been up at like 8%. So they've watered it back to like 6.5 or whatever. But it's, yeah, that's possible. And if that's the case, it feels like that's happened. And I'd love to have tried it if they hadn't done that. I don't know if it has, I'm just guessing. This is better, I think, on this showing. And I think a bit too sweet though. Bit less sweetness. Off dry. This feels like a medium, and I'd like it to be off dry, I think. Just off dry. That'd be great. For my palate again. But I just feel like, yeah, some good apples in that. And I think the sugary thing is just masking it a little bit for my palate. There you go. But yeah, if you see them on the shelf, grab them. Just if you're in the supermarket and you want some solid cider, nothing wrong with these. Westerns as well. I always go for Westerns. I think Westerns do a good job. Yeah. Thank you for joining me at my cider table for that Sheppy's head-to-head. I hope you join me again. But until that time, cheers.